Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining me again today. As you can see, I'm a little bit casual. I'm speaking about a place I just returned from called the Greenbrier in West Virginia. This is one of the premier resorts in the United States. It's a fabulous place. People have been coming here since the time of the Revolutionary War to take the spring waters, which were thought to be healing and indeed did benefit rheumatism and other disease states. Now, you probably notice I'm a little bit casual. Well, I'm wearing a Greenbrier golf shirt, and it's hard to see, but I'm going to hold that up. There's a little cupola design, which the cupola exists to this day and covers over the original spring, which is over near the tennis pavilion and the shuffleboard courts, if you will. So, as I mentioned, people have been coming to the Greenbrier an awful long time, numerous presidents, but for me, the most famous people, I think, were probably Princess Rainier and Princess Grace of Monaco. Now, the Greenbrier really has something for everybody. There's fishing, archery, Jeep 4x4 driving, slingshot driving. I did one of those. That was lots of fun. All manner of stuff. But now for the more sedate, you can go on a carriage ride. There's bowling. There's 3 golf courses. In fact, they had 3 famous pros there. Sam Snead, who's a native of West Virginia, also Tom Watson and Lee Trevino. In fact, at one of the courses, Tom Watson described it as the prettiest opening tee in the entire world of golf. So it's a great place to visit. Excellent locale in the West Virginia mountains. Very good attention to detail of all sorts. You can have coffee on the first floor lobby in the morning and then stroll around, look at beautiful grounds, and finish out your evening down in the lower lobby at a theater which shows children's films early and more contemporary, older audience films later on. It's a great experience altogether. The Greenbrier also played a role in our nation's history from the standpoint of defense during the Cold War. Now, at that time, if you remember, we were all quite concerned about nuclear war, and the Greenbrier was the site of a bunker built to house the members of Congress as well as the president and vice president to keep the government going if indeed there was an attack on Washington, D.C. The construction was started during the Eisenhower administration about 1959 and 1960, and it remained top secret until the 1990s when it was finally revealed. And some of you might remember an episode hosted by Stone Phillips on a news show where they interviewed the general manager at the time of the Greenbrier, Ted Kleisner, who spoke about the origins and the purpose of the bunker. They offer a tour of the bunker at the Greenbrier. It's well worth it, and it really puts in stark reality what the fight of the United States against communism was like at that time and the very real threat of Cold War. The Greenbrier had also served with the military during World War II when there were some prisoners of war housed at the Greenbrier, and also there were some convalescents for United States servicemen that had been injured there. So great patriotic place from that perspective as well. So I want to talk about some of the great cuisine there. Now the Greenbrier has had 2 very famous athletes grow up nearby, Sam Snead from West Virginia and Jerry West from West Virginia. Jerry West played in the NBA, and he is the man that the logo of the NBA with the dribbling basketball player, it was based on Jerry West. He was a point guard, played for the Los Angeles Lakers. Number 44 had his number retired. Now, Sam Snead, the golfer, I'm sure many people have heard of him. He had multiple major wins and, curiously enough, a very remarkable record. 35 witnessed hole-in-ones during his career. Fantastic. So, let's speak about the restaurants. They have plenty of them at the Greenbrier. My favorites are the Sam Snead Tavern and Slammin' Sammy's Sports Bar. as well as Prime 44. Now, Prime 44 is named for Jerry West and his number, and this is a steakhouse, and you can get the unusual cuts of steak, porterhouse, and Kansas City strip that you don't see very often anymore. Along with those are the more mundane, such as filet mignon, New York strip, etc. Now, over at Slammin' Sammy's, that's much more of a casual dining, but it has numerous TVs, so it's a great Saturday afternoon football watching experience, and indeed I partook. Now, nearby the Greenbrier is some great history. The town Lewisburg was named the coolest small town in America. It has houses dating back to the early 1800s, maybe some into the 1700s. It also has an authentic beer garden called the Briar Garden. Briar Garden is sort of a pun on beer garden and the nearby Greenbrier River. Now, the Greenbrier River flows between the Greenbrier Resort and the town of Lewisburg. The Greenbrier River is an excellent recreational area. There is a rails to trails system. For those of you not familiar, many years ago when railroads were pulling up their tracks, they converted the old rail bed to trails, particularly in scenic areas along rivers, through mountains, etc. I have ridden my bicycle about 60 miles total on this trail, 30 miles in, 30 miles back. It's a great ride, beautiful vistas. There's some old railroad machinery with information placards describing how it works along the way. Also, you pass through a long tunnel. It's pretty cool. And then you've just got some great views along the river. It's a pretty smooth, slight elevation trail in some spots. Well worth your time to go ride. And also, a very thoughtful measure, right at the beginning of the trailhead, just off the state highway, is a area to pump up your bicycle tires, and then there's several Allen wrenches and other things that those of us that are bikers might need to adjust the seat, tires, rims, etc. So yes, fantastic. Now, the whole area is easily accessible off of the United States interstate system. Interstate 64 passes right by the town of White Sulphur Springs, and easy to get off there and head over to the Greenbrier. There's also a train station harking back to yesteryear when most travel was done by train for long distances, and that's across the street from the Greenbrier Hotel. Well, I'm going to highly recommend that you go to this historic hotel nestled in the West Virginia mountains and enjoy it, I hope, as much as I did. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope to see you on the next Journeys with Jack.